Welcome to the Good Neighbors podcast. This is Shields, with your hosts, Brad Shields and Alex McKee.
Oh, I love that sound every time it goes on the broken glass. Hi guys, we're back. We realized that we missed last month.
Well, we've been
a little busy.
It's crazy busy.
Crazy busy. A lot of good things.
Yeah, good busy.
But good busy that doesn't seem to end. So all positive. But today we've got some fun stuff for you.
But before you start,
oh goodness,
two things, very important. Not that everybody's going to maybe notice, but I am working to bring the mullet back.
Okay, that's already a thing.
I'm.
The mullet coming back is already a thing.
No, but
They have like the National Children's Mullet Competition, and they're phenomenal.
Okay,
they're crazy.
But this is like a 57-year-old mullet. This is
So you're bringing it back in style for your generation.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
And also, just this is very important. I want to clarify the record because it's out there. Everybody thinks that King Arthur, Sir Arthur, the knight, invented the round table. And he used a round table.
Yeah.
And yes, it was a knight that invented the round table, but it was not Sir Arthur or King Arthur.
Okay.
It was circumference.
I shouldn't even laugh at that.
Should not have, but you did.
The workup to that punchline was.
Well, that's what's key. See, it's all about the delivery. It's all.
Yeah.
If you just say a joke, like we cut our teeth in racing. So I used to race everything I had. So I had this racing snail, and he was doing okay, but he wasn't the fastest racing snail out there. So I thought I'd take a shell off of him to get him to go faster. Just made him sluggish.
That's horrible. You know they have a cartoon about a racing snail, right?
No, I don't.
I can't recall the name of it, but they do. It's Turbo. Turbo.
Really?
It is.
Okay.
It is a snail that just dreams of his day on track.
Okay.
Yeah, it's cute.
Keep dreaming.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
all right.
We're gonna dive in. We're gonna dive in, guys. So our new product today is something a little bit different in a sense of where it's at in availability. So we are in the middle of developing the John Deere P, as in Paul or Peter.
Or pneumonia.
Or pneumonia.
The P silent.
So at the moment, we are replacing that skid steer. We will have available our 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, and our 3/8 options. Our standard, it drops, fits, OEM, form, fit, and function, but with our Shields advantage. So look into that. Give us a call if you want it. We are taking pre-orders.
Yes, and they're very hot right now.
They're very hot.
Very
we
hot.
have
Really
about 125.
Not a sales pitch hot. It's hot.
We have 125 on pre-order roughly right now, I think. So we're looking to keep that going.
Yeah.
Really kind of sprung out of nowhere. Like we follow all of the articles, and it's not a brand new skid steer. I think it's been out for a minute, and now I think the market's really like, hello, we need this.
When we first started, we went after the new models, like in the excavators.
It takes a minute.
And then we realized the generation back one is when all the glass is breaking.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of readjusted how we're jumping out of the gate on that.
Well, I think it gets into the market, the aftermarket becomes a thing.
Right.
So it's been good. John Deere should be proud of this one. I think it's going to be very popular. We've got many other projects in the works, but we'll share one at a time with you guys.
Yes.
So that kind of leads me into, I was looking at orders, and we have one of our very favorite, fun, neatest, coolest,
uniquest.
And there we go.
Do you
customers.
need to put S on unique? Unique is all by itself unique.
The most unique?
I like uniquest. That's probably not a word.
Probably not. We'll go with
Mrs. Keller, you're probably still mad at me. I didn't pay attention in freshman English, but sorry.
Gotta probably definitely be watching this. That's our core audience.
Yeah, right? Pretty much.
Anyways, so
she was old back then.
Bradley.
She was.
Well, I hope she does watch this, and I hope she comes out to the factory and oh,
maybe, I don't know.
let's see if your luck starts to turn. Um, so what was I? Sales orders. So processing, looking at our sales orders, we had a Disneyland monorail order come through. They order these every 5 or 6 years as they're unmanned now and they're not driven with somebody. But if you've ever been to Disney World, ever been to Disneyland, or any of the Disneys, and you ride the people movers, those big monorails, those windshields, those are ours.
Yep.
So that, along with pretty much any other window within Disney in a sense of a ride, or it has shape to
the
it.
test track, they just reordered also the next day. It's like
they remembered who we were.
They forgot our email address for 2 years. Like, oh shit, there they are. Mm-hmm. You think Shields would be who makes the windshields?
Well, we're one of their only, as far as we know, at least back in the day, were one of the only third-party outsourced vendors, suppliers.
They used to make their own monorail windshields out of acrylic.
Mm-hmm.
In Orlando, they were atrocious.
So
just being nice.
At this point, we make a variety of windows for Disney. And one of them being, like, our most recent projects are actually their golf carts. Not so much fun, but they're good projects. Mm-hmm. But back in the day, and what I want to take the rest of the time with today is we've got the test track, we've got the monorail, we've got the show that they no longer do.
The stunt show had the Malibu, we had the thing in the one in Paris. Can't remember what that was called.
So each of those have a great story. I was a kid, and my Disney experience as a kid was very different, I imagine, than a lot of people's.
Well, you did have breakfast with Minnie. That was the highlight of your trip.
But I remember sitting in that
was last year.
I would love to have breakfast with Minnie again. Let's be real. There's that stage of age where that's not cool. Kind of like Halloween, I don't want to dress up. But then you get to college and you're like, that shit's awesome.
Well, she was very, very much into the properness of Disney, meaning Mickey and Minnie Mouse, to the point, and I maybe jumped there, I used to coach football. Mm-hmm. Like I said, my dad had to do some maturing after I graduated from college before I could come back, and then so that was important. But
you're saying that I was definitely more mature than you at 24 when I came back to the
probably movie. My shoes were more mature than me at that point too. But coaching and teaching doesn't lend to a lot of vacations because of time and the summers and all that. So I'd started working for Dad for almost a year. We've been just launched, trying to get into NASCAR, trying to do our racing.
Launched Shields.
And in the spring break, we took a trip to Disney. The four of us, your brother, your mom, you and I. We stayed at the All-Star Sports Complex.
Ooh, fancy.
Oh my gosh, that was so cool. And the characters, the first morning, Captain Hook was there to greet us right away. You guys were terrified. It was great. And your big thing for the week is you got to do the breakfast with Minnie. I'll never forget, we're going around Magic Kingdom, and there's the Princess Tower, the castle.
Yes.
Which, by the way, I just read a book on the castle that it's actually made from in Bavaria, or maybe resembles. Very good book. Interesting book. Anyway, Bo, being an older brother and a smartass, as we're going through Mickey's house, which was next door to Minnie's house, he's like, "Hey, Alex, I thought you said Mickey and Minnie lived in the castle and we're in their house." And with all attitude and seriousness, you put your hand on the hip and you go, "That was before they were married, Bo." That was your level of Disney focus.
Well, and honestly, I could come back with the same answer now and be like, who's to say they're not wealthy enough to have multiple homes?
That's a pretty wealthy mouse. So later that day, or maybe the next day, we went to Epcot, which is one of the coolest, just coolest places on earth. And we went on the test track.
Year-wise, this was
2000.
2000. Okay.
So
4 years ago.
Yeah. I was 9.
I was 5. I was peak confidence.
Yeah. So we go to the test track, and your your mom and your brother, which are ride freaks.
Yes.
They
They're
literally
adrenaline
run.
junkies.
They run at amusement parks from ride to ride. Everybody's like, oh my God, there's something wrong. No, they just want to get there first. So they're riding up front, and you and I are in back. Of course, I got my little girl. I'm not a big ride guy. So
Follow-up story to that one.
Yeah, we do the ride, and it's a cool ride. Okay, the test track is a cool ride. We get done, and we're walking down to where they do the pictures, and Bo would have been 7.
Mm-hmm.
I go, hey man, how'd you like the ride? He goes, it sucked. Well, right away, his mom about backhanding because we don't say sucked. I don't know where his mouth got to now, but at 7, he got hit for that.
Probably the reason why he's a sailor now.
But I'm like, dude, what was wrong? Because it wasn't your windshield. I couldn't see through it. And instantly, whistles and bells went off with me. And I'm a big Zig Ziglar disciple. And I've been reading all his books at the time. I was fortunate enough to have a breakfast with him with a bunch of other people. And so as soon as he said that, my vacation was over. And my focus was, you're right. I went back up the staircase, which you're not allowed to do. I said, I'm just looking at the windows as people get down. Like, what? And they were horrible. They were yellow. They were looked like sandpaper. You couldn't see through them. It was just atrocious. So the rest of the trip is kind of a blur to me because I'm working on my strategy. And Zig said, when you inquire, you want to go to the highest level you can. Preferably the person that signs the paychecks or higher. So I did my research, and I found out.
That's why I get so many emails.
Yeah. I found out there was 5 vice presidents of Disney in Orlando from different areas. So I put a package together with samples and everything and explained about what our windows are. And I'll be damned if not 2-3 weeks later, I get a response back saying, hey, we have some interest in this window. What can you do? And I said, well, it looks like a Monte Carlo, which we're doing a Monte Carlo for NASCAR. I said, let me get you one down if you don't mind cutting it, fit it in, and give it a try. So we started talking. I talked to the Imagineers actually in the test track. Didn't go down there. It's all on the phone. Mm-hmm. Okay, no Zoom, none of that stuff. It didn't exist then. Only at Disney, maybe. So I sent him the window. Oh, and he told me earlier, he goes, we're replacing these things about every 25 to 30 days because of customer complaints.
Yeah, I bet.
So,
I mean, you're getting in a ride that's supposed to resemble a car.
Right, yes. And so I sent them the window, and they probably got the window, let's say late April, maybe early May, right around your mom's birthday. And I don't hear back from them. And I don't hear back from them. And I don't hear back from them. Well, the reason I know this timeline really well is I was still coaching football at the time. And at that time, it would have been the Bears, which we went undefeated and unscored upon.
Okay, when he says the Bears, he means Little League.
Martinsville Junior Football, unscored upon. Now,
7-year-olds.
That's remarkable. That's coaching. There's good players too, but that's a lot of coaching. Anyway, because I get a call finally from them, they said, we want you to come down. I'm like, oh, shit, I'm coaching football. I go, what's wrong? They go, well, it's still doing good. It's been 3 months. The window looks brand new. But we don't want to, yeah.
What's wrong with it?
So I jump on a plane. Now, I'm going to go on forever with the Disney story. I jump on a plane. I get down there, and I'm like, oh, my gosh, we love it. We love it. We got a pattern. It wasn't Monte Carlo. Got it figured out. Brought the pattern back. Started making them. Well, they want me to help install the first ones. Of course they do. And back then I did install. I don't install now. They do, youngsters. So I go back down. And the part of the story, we installed it, no problem. It was great, though. I was United, which I hate to fly United. Sorry. I'm a Delta guy. But anyway, I have to go back.
Hilton Marriott.
Yeah, I go back to Chicago. I'm 4 hours away from football practice. Mm-hmm. And I'm getting delayed. And I'm starting to just come unglued. I'm on this football practice. And I told the lady, now you can say I pushed the edge a little bit. I said, I have 25 clients that are counting on me. They cannot start their meeting unless I'm there. She put me on the very back seat of a plane. I get to practice right as they're lined up. There's my 25 clients ready for practice. So the test track goes great, and they love it. So they call them back, and they say, this is on it. They said, what can we do for you? Because we've never gone outside. I said, hey, do you know anybody over the monorails? Because those suck as well. They said, yes, we do. In fact, they're not happy. So I go back down to Disney. I start meeting with the monorail guys. And I'm like, first off, guys, these are acrylic. Well, yeah, we can't form polycarbonate. Well, no shit. That's why I have a job. And they're huge. This is a 12-foot long sheet. It's almost 8 foot by 12 foot.
It is over 100. It's 100 inches by 144.
144 by. It's the
huge.
biggest sheet Lexan can make. Well, technically they can make a longer one. They can't make anything wider.
Yeah, it's full web width, and it actually has to get stored in a very bizarre manner because there's not a rack in a warehouse that it fits.
There's not a semi.
No.
It's got to come on a wide load like a boat's coming in. So you get the monorail.
So we do these in batches.
Get it down there, oversized, and they're like, well, it doesn't fit. And long story, very long story short. I get down there, and by the way, for almost 18 months, I went to Disney about every 3 weeks. Northwest had a flight, little Embraer. I go from Indy to Orlando. I'd get there at 7 in the morning. I could leave about 8 o'clock at night. Some nights I would spend the night because there are 12 monorails with 2 windows each, 24 windows by colors, red, yellow,
and that's
blue.
Just Orlando, right?
Just Orlando.
Yeah, because the ones we're making now are going to California.
These are going to Orlando here first. The California ones are different. They're the blue ones. And
okay.
So I get down there and they say, look, this isn't really well known, but all 12 cars have different trims because they've been wrecked. They run into stuff so much. I'm like, really? They said, yeah, we need you to trim each one in by hand.
Oh, gosh. Are you billing them by the hour? I'm curious.
No.
Of course not.
They're paying for my flight. So
that wins.
So I'm flying down there, and now I get to the interesting part of the story. The only union shop in Disney at the time was the transportation hub out and back.
Okay.
And those guys loved making the windows because they would take the acrylic and they'd take about 3 months to work it in. Do the math.
You cut
That's all they
that's
did.
A lot of hours.
They had their high back chairs, their card games, their break time. They were cush. They were loving it. The younger guys had to change the tires and all that stuff. They hated me. They had a beautiful tool crib. So I'm traveling with saber saws, with belt sanders, with die grinders. They're giving me no air hookups, so everything's got to be electric, no pneumatics. I'm taking my own extension cords. Everything I'm doing is carrying on or checking to go there.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty aggressively anti-me. So I always have an Imagineer escort, and I had a young man. He was from South Korea. Really taught me how to use chopsticks great. We got to know each other really well. You hold him wrong. You hold him like a big Midwestern guy. I'm like, yeah, I get it. Learn, just really, he's a great guy. But he's very little. And we're about 3 stories up on the scaffolding working, putting the windows in.
Mm-hmm.
So what you have to do is you go around and you got to push it in, mark it. And if you push one area and the other one pops out, I call it chasing the rabbit. If you over trim here, you screw it up over there. It's a long process. And I've got Juan, and it really is not Juan, there's a Y in it. He's holding everything I can. I got a knee and arm and everything, trying to push this in so I can just mark this corner. And the union boss and 2 of his flunkies are on the scaffolding with those oys, making sure I don't do something wrong. Now, this is second shift. This is 12:30, almost 1 a.m.
Okay.
We found out that was the best time to do it. And
Makes sense.
I asked the guy if he would just reach up and push that corner in so I could mark it. I'm honest, I couldn't reach it with my mouth. This, when I say a true story, because it's a little odd, and I'm not going to go to the full details. He responds with something about a truck, I don't know, and
Oh.
truck you, I don't know what it was.
Yeah,
I do.
You can say whatever you want.
Well, you know what he said to me.
Yeah.
As soon as he said that to me, I dropped everything and got him by the throat, and we started going over the rail.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
And, I was thinking about this. I'm passionate. I'm not violent. But sometimes
You're the border.
passion is shown because he turned to me, he goes, fuck you. I was gone. Done. We're on.
No shit.
So I've got.
Do you know how pissed off you'd be at me if I tackled somebody?
Well, let me finish the story. So I got him there. His minions are jumping here. My little Imagineer is working up between us, breaking And it's getting scary. We're up there. We get separated and pull back down, and I am insane. I'm just seething.
Yeah.
Okay, so now as I get down there, they have security there, and they're going to escort me out. So to go into that part of Disney is the back. I call it the back cave entrance. You come off of Ford, you go around, and the Orlando Ale House, a big bar right there. You pass it, and literally there's no signs, and that takes you back there. You've been back there, but you were too young. You and Bo had to go into a side room because you have to be over 16 to even be on the parking lot back there.
Wow.
So as I'm leaving, I realized how disappointed and upset my father's going to be in what I just did. So I go to the ale house. I got 3 or 4 hours, 5 hours to my flight. I'm getting a beer, and I'm trying to calm down, and Zig Ziglar's going in my head. Yelled at the manager, which I kind of knew at that point now, but not, I said, hey, how many wings do you have? Oh, they're coming 7, 12. I know, how many wings do you have? Well, I like 12 or 18. How many wings do I got? About 300. I will take all your wings. What? I need them in a to-go catering type. What? I'll take all your wings. Mind you, I didn't even call my mom to okay this $220.
No, that was a worthwhile.
Yeah, but you didn't know. We gotta get all that cleared.
You didn't have you had a credit card though.
I had a credit card. So I get the wings back in my rental. I always rented a Mustang, a convertible Mustang, because when you go the other part out of Disney, you got the Animal Kingdom, and there's these roads back there that no one's on. And, oh, man, power slide, that's a race course, faster than my racing snail. So I go back, and I've got the wings, and I've got them in the carriers, and I go up there, and they got that big break table. And they're all kind of standing around. I come back in, everybody's like, I walk in, I set the wings down, and I leave. I come back 2 weeks later to the next one, and this is where it gets, your passion gets, I walk in not knowing what to expect, but I am ready for a fight. We're just going to just get bloody, get it done. I walk in, he walks towards me, the same fucking minions right behind him. He goes, you can start using our tools if you like, no reason to bring your other stuff. I got my union card that day, and it cost me 300 wings. But it taught me a great lesson. I've never apologized for my passion on my windows. But I've been lucky enough to roll the dice a few times with some outbursts or some things like that with Ray Evernham. We'll talk about that later. Ray and I still talk. We can have a beer together. He's not afraid of me anymore. The head of Ford.
The head of Ford maybe.
Racing. I'm never allowed around him again. So we got the monorail, and they loved it. And it went into California to the Maui Boomer. And then quickly, I know we're out of time, then the California, they want their new monorail done. They go, we got the guy we want you to meet with. Not a designer, not a engineer. This is the head of their art department.
Oh.
He's I almost said schizophrenic. He's a savant. He graduated from the New York Art School at the age of 14.
Oh my God.
He's flying in a 737 on Disney's 737. We go to Gray's Restaurant in Mooresville.
Shout out to Grace.
He doesn't drink. How the hell am I do business? He don't drink. He was older than that. So he has this sketch, and I've still got one of the sketches of what he wants this to look like. I'm like, oh my God, that looks awesome. It's impossible to make. It's an egg. It's a beautiful egg up front. Convinced him we'll split it in half.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great. We built this window from an artist's want, and the engineers had to make it work. That's Disney.
Well, honestly, engineers, until you give them a problem to solve, sorry, babe, but you're just going to chill.
Right. And so
engineers need people giving them problems.
Yeah, Disney, we became the only outside vendor. And your mom loves telling this story. To the point, 2014, she gets a call. She takes the call, and they're like, we need you over here right now. She's like, what's wrong?
Wait, back in 2014, mom took a phone call.
Yeah. And like,
I don't think she'd know how to answer it.
They're like, what's going on? She's like, what's going on? She goes, well, we've got the princess carriage. Those acrylic things are broken.
Cinderella carriage.
Well, they're all the same to me. I know. Excuse me.
Okay, you didn't just say that.
So she's like, well, what do you mean? Well, they're broken. We need it fixed. We got the parade. It's about 6 hours. Can you get over here? She's like, we're in Indiana. Why are you in Indiana? We're another company. They thought we were on the property. I've got a lot of different stories. You know, and I've seen everything Disney has except for one thing. And this is really cool. I mean, everything. Some of the virtual reality shows where the spaceship falls off the cliff and on Mars.
Mhm.
I was one of the very first non-Disney employees to go through that. It made me sicker than hell. It really did. I hated those things. But I mean, I was there a lot. They did a lot with me on the test track, the stunt show, not the test, the stunt show. We put some louvers in it so the engines didn't get too hot and they cooled off.
Hey, I'm gonna pause you because I want you to elaborate on these
On
stories.
what?
On these stories.
Okay.
I don't want to rush them. So
Well, let me tell you the stunt show.
okay.
Okay. So the stunt show, which is
We
no
got 'em
longer
going.
a show. Oh, by the way, your mom. I've never seen the paint room. I've never seen where they mix Donald Duck
I
Blue.
don't think anybody has.
No, that is a who.
Now, but to mark that, we do have material for
Mhm.
Disneyland in California and other areas where it is their color sheets. I can't tell you how old some of these sheets are on the floor.
But it's licensed just
But it
for
is
them.
licensed strictly for Disney.
Color means everything. So the stunt show, which is a cool show, we got the engines cooled off and they invite us down. And so I go down, and it's like an old French town set. I'm sitting there with a couple of stunt drivers on the front porch, and I've got the video, well, not on my phone now, but I've still got the video at work.
We've displayed it at shows.
Well, this is kind of this was a initiation. So the stunt cars are doing the warm up stuff like that, and I'm sitting right here on this porch while these other 3 or 4 stunt drivers, and here comes the bad guy car. He's doing this, and whoa, he goes by. I'm like, whoa, damn near hit the wall. Does it again. I'm like, fuck. I mean, that's close. There's a railing right here. I'm like, cool, but I'm cool, right? Because they're not flinching. Be damned if I'm going to flinch. Next thing you know, he comes around, he pulls out of the loop, his front end comes flying up, and he smacks that wall. I go back over my chair, trying to scramble out of the way. Everybody's dying. The whole front is a fake cushion, and that's part of the show, because when they do it, then the stunt people normally get shot up off the sides. They got a hell of a hoot out of that.
Oh, I bet.
And that was, I'm scrambling. It was
A hell of a hoot.
a hell of a hoot. It was great. So later for the show that night, we had 2 friends with us. They put us all in the director's chairs, which is the special things. We got to direct it, and then we got to ride Herbie the love bug, the half. Herbie comes out just half the car, and you ride behind. So
Oh, that's cool.
it was great. Pardon me. What was really cool, the head of the stunt show, his wife was Miriam from Raiders of the Lost Ark in their stunt show. So after we did that, we're going to go out to dinner there at the park. He goes, well, let's go watch, and I can't remember her real first name, Miriam. So we watched the Raiders of the Lost Ark show on side stage. Watch all the stunts, the preparation and back. And so it's always been that way with Disney. You know, forget the politics now on those people, but the people that make Disney work are phenomenal, creative, and hardworking, and perfectionists.
Oh yeah, well it's the culture they've curated there, and I don't think that in today's world and security measures and the way people interact, I don't think, just like your Ford story, your NASCAR story, I don't think we'd be able to accomplish that level of interaction.
I'd be arrested today.
You would, I don't think you could. So it's, by the grace of God that the timing worked out and all of these things. Now they just send us purchase orders.
Right, and they do.
And new projects. And they're a great customer.
They are, but it's just cool because Disney is seen by so many people. And what I love is I remember both you and your brother as kids having your dream. Captain Hook was cool, but when the Queen of Hearts chased your brother around the whole park, and
with his visor.
Yeah, you guys had such a great experience. To be a part of that, to help that experience,
But what I love about what we're doing right now, and actually just listening to you tell these stories, and one of the reasons why I brought it up is I lived it, but I was a child, and I'm hearing some of these details for the first time here.
A lot of the nights, so I took to the airport right as you guys were going to bed, and I was back.
And I didn't,
And you really didn't either know I was gone or you were at school.
Mm-hmm.
and you didn't know that. And that was fine. And some of the headaches, I glossed over a little bit, but trimming those windows.
That's a
So
bitch.
when we got to Alamo and how they want to do some of their stuff and how John Deere want to do some of their stuff, I was ready for it. I mean, I've dealt with this. We didn't have to get in fights or anything like that. They wanted solutions, but they didn't understand how those solutions could be found. But I did. And so those lessons, to be learned, and hopefully they transcend. But yeah, there was, but it was new. Something was great about this. Yeah, polycarbonate Lexington's been around a while, but not what really we were doing. Acrylic.
No.
They were using acrylic. They were using other plastics. They were using glass. We came in with this new a solution that helped performance, and being on the cutting edge of it. And I'm learning right the whole time too, right?
But you jumped. You jumped in. And that passion, I'm hoping here in the next 2 weeks, we get to see again towards another customer that I think needs to understand the importance of their windshield. And hopefully we'll be able to follow up with you guys on how it goes.
Yep.
We'll
And
see the
we've got
passion
a
come
couple of
back out.
those and a teaser. We got something in the works.
We have a big something in the
We
works.
have something big in the works that.
It's a game changer, folks.
Oh, I hate the word game changer.
No. It is a series changer. It is a new league.
It's not. Doesn't exist right now.
See you later.
Thank you for tuning in to the This is Shields podcast. To learn more about Shields and our commitment to windshields with performance-proven toughness, visit us at shieldswindshields.com. For any inquiries or to explore our range of products, give us a call at 1-800-554-7527. For quick assistance, you can also text us at 765-913-8121. Stop by our headquarters at 1000 Industrial Drive in Martinsville, Indiana, to experience firsthand the excellence we put into every product we make. For any further information or questions, feel free to send an email to info@shieldswindshields.com. We'd love to hear from you. Once again, thank you for tuning into this episode of the This is Shields podcast. Keep pushing the boundaries of performance and stay inspired.